Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in. You are welcome. Welcome to another edition of Mamlakak Broadcast Network, affectionately called MBNK News. I am Veronique Lawson, your host for today's conversation. Well, have you ever heard the phrase, we have the power to define the game? Why not making it interesting? Make no mistakes. The most dangerous game is well crafted and strategic. And today's topic is the most dangerous game with whistleblower Cathy O'Brien. Today, she is going to be talking again on sort of called MKU3, but more into detail going on this most dangerous game, which I tell you is a very crafted and strategic, a product of wealth, prestige, and silence. The hunting is real, and it's not just a madman logic. Who are the players, you may ask, or who are the targets? I'm glad you asked it. Crimes which are not committed in darkness but permitted in daylight because people with authority choose not to look. Keep that thought in mind. These nefarious and grotesque things are not carried out by rebels or mercenaries, rather by the high-ranking governmental official who blur the line with justifying cruelty for control or sacrifices right for order. You are awakened with when you realize that most of America's problems were deliberately created by our own government. I know some of you may say, oh yeah, that is only a conspiracy theory. Well, I hate to tell you that conspiracy theory was labeled by the CIA in order to conceal the truth and silencing whistleblowers who dare to harm it. This ugly tactic has been used for centuries to keep the public in darkness and unaware of what is truly going on behind the scenes. That being said, before our guest today come to the stage, allow me to introduce her from her short biography. I know I crafted this biography and I hope that the description fit well. And then if I'm wrong, she will correct me. Cathy O'Brien is an absolute vision of strength and brilliance of mind, body, and soul. She went through a lot in her life, yet her resilient mind is a real proof that we can overcome whatever the enemy throws at us. Cathy is a whistleblower for plus 35 years who dedicates her life to empower humanity to peacefully reclaim their inherent right to free thought in light of truth. She is a survivor of CIA MK Ultra project, Project Monarch mind control operation, which was US government mind control. She is the author of the book Transformation of America, which dives deep on the topic. You can get your copy today on Amazon. We're going to highlight her book, and so that you could actually have a screenshot of it. Thank you very much, my producer. So you could have a screenshot of that book, and so that you could find it on Amazon, and you could even have it as an audio book. I'm telling you, this book will change your life on the way you view things in life. Ladies and gentlemen, that being said, please help me welcome our beautiful guest today, whistleblower Cathy O'Brien, on the stage.
Hello, it's good to see you again. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for such a beautiful comprehensive introduction. Yeah, I've been speaking out for over 35 years on MK Ultra mind control and healing from it. And people are aware of it now. They're ready for the information. They realize the extent of the criminal corruption that has permeated governments worldwide for global control. And they're ready for truth now. Truth makes us free, and knowledge is our defense against mind control. So thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you very much. Welcome back, Kati. Thank you. How have you been? And it's truly an honor for us to have you back on this show today discussing this topic, the most dangerous game, which I know is all the amalgam of the MK Ultra. We are so honored. Thank you again. How have you been?
Very busy. So many survivors are emerging these days, and so many children are being rescued from child sex trafficking, and there's much more happening on the positive action end than the news ever conveys. It's only people like you who bring truth to light, but that truth is coming to light, and as more and more survivors speak out, a common thread through so many testimonies is having been exposed to the most dangerous game of human hunting. It is a very traumatic game played by elites to control those that they are hunting. And it's a very much a trauma. Trauma is the basis of mind control, and that's why they play this so-called dangerous game.
Indeed. I mean, that game, when I was reading your book, I was just like tears was falling down from my eyes. I read that chapter and I read it. I said, oh my God, this is the must. We have to hone this story out there. I mean, people need to understand and be aware, truly, not just the hunting, but what is going on behind the scene. The scene with the children and with women and the young adult. It's cruel. I was just like, oh no.
There's so many levels. There's so many levels of the most dangerous game that go on. After my father sold me into the CIA's MK Ultra mind control project back in the early 60s, I was programmed on various DARPA, NASA, and military installations. Those military installations also included traumatic military maneuvers, like the most dangerous game. Ultimately, that is where that game originated and how they started it, because the soldiers were conditioned to find a way to survive under extreme circumstances of being hunted with guns. And then they decided, well, let's just take this into MK Ultra mind control and hunt the victims of MK Ultra. And that began when I was very young. It happens to little children. It happens to people that they are grooming for the presidency, like I saw happen with George Bush Jr. and at the Mount Shasta compound, where he was hunted in the most dangerous game too. So there's many levels of this most dangerous game, but it is most common within the U.S. military as a conditioning mechanism. For survivors of the victims of mind control, it's to condition them to believe they have no place to run and no place to hide. That's the ultimate program of that, is to make a person feel like there's no way out of that horrific situation. Of course, it's a lie. I'm living proof of that. But there are many who did not survive. And it's a very pervasively used trauma base.
Indeed. We are so grateful that you really survived after all those years of abuse and all, and that today you are honing that for that people also will not will not fall into the trap, because the trap is laid out there and it's in plain sight, and many people think that just normal, or people just blush it out and say, yeah, it is not me. until it gets to your family. Then now you feel the pain, right? So wow, I don't know how you wanna try to bring the discussion on, especially if you want to go more into detail with this dangerous game. Which angle you want to bring it, please? Just let us hear more about this dangerous
Well,
game.
I would like to encourage people that what happens to us in life is not who we are. Who we are is still within us, and it's within us all to heal. We have been blessed with resilient body, mind, and spirit. And it's so important for us to understand that we've been conditioned for generations to give our power away to big government, big pharma, big tech, big cult to cult religion to tell us how to live our lives. When in fact, we have been blessed with such deep wisdom and knowledge within ourselves all along. We have all the power. These perpetrators only have as much power as we give them or let them steal. And I think that's an important thing for people to be able to wrap their minds around the magnitude that we share this planet with a very dark force, evil, negative energy that feeds off of low vibration energy. That's why they use trauma. That's why they use fear. It's why they divide us in so many different ways, because that's their vibration. If they can manipulate our minds in any way, then that stops us from being able to access our free will, soul expression, tap into that infinite strength of the human spirit and power of love, because that vibration is what they fear the most, is that we're going to remember who we are, why we're here, live the love we are, and raise that vibration so high they have nothing to feed off of anymore. So vibrationally speaking, it's such a victory that we've already won when we remember who we are and why we're here. And that's the positive aspect of this that I want people to be able to understand, so that they can face the reality of what this dark negative energy force is imposing on our children. They're targeting our children. They're using the most dangerous game of human hunting on our children. They're using satanic ritual abuse. And above all, they're using sexual abuse, because it had been found through the Hitler-Himmler research that was brought into the United States with Project Paperclip. People can research that for themselves. We didn't win World War II. We imported it into the U.S. When we imported the Nazi and fascist scientists, with them came the formula for MK Ultra mind control. That formula is the same, whether it's of an individual, a military, a classroom, a nation, or the world. Trauma is the basis of it. And that is why so much trauma is being imposed these days. It's to keep us in a state of fear, because our own mind brain function, when we learn our birthright information on how our brains respond to trauma, we realize that trauma makes the conscious mind freeze in fright and leaves the subconscious mind wide open to being easily led and manipulated. If we don't have our conscious mind filtered, we just take information in, no matter what it is. And then it drives our thoughts and ultimately our actions. That's what mind control is about. They want to be able to control our minds so that we are compliant with their globalist slave society agenda, and so that we don't think together that infinite strength of spirit and power of love, because again, that's what they fear the most. And they want to keep us from that, because they're trying to destroy our humanity, because our humanity is our saving grace. It's where we win and where they lose. And the Great Awakening is happening. We need to realize that, but we've got to start facing the reality of what our children are enduring, whether it's indoctrination in the school system, satanic ritual abuse, child sex trafficking, being used in the child blackmail operations that have been going on so long. why the pedophile mind control agenda is being pushed so hard. The transgender agenda is a mind control agenda with a depopulation agenda attached to it, because the transgender movement makes it where people don't procreate anymore and have more children that way. So we need to consider that we need to face some really harsh realities in order to effectively protect our children, protect our future, and protect our sacred humanity that we've been blessed with.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful, Kachi. I mean, you just highlight a lot in a short in a short term, and what you just say so resonate with me in the period that we are in now, in called this Great Awakening. You spoke about how the dark forces energy, we don't share this, we are sharing this planet with the dark forces energy. I mean, when you see some people, sometimes you really feel that they that they are real people, but they could be a clone. They could be soulless people who are doing such stuff. Because I could not really believe that someone with sound mind, as you just referred to, spirit, the power of spirit and love, filled with that one, could be doing such thing. And what you share now show me really that yes, these dark energy forces are here in this planet, just try to disrupt mankind. But as you said, we are not going to give them a foothold to try to disrupt mankind again on the earth. We have to really raise up our vibrational frequency, so that to the point that by raising our vibrational frequency, that will eradicate them out of this world. How about that?
Yes. And well, knowledge is our defense against their mind control. And when we understand all the components of it, we understand that they're shutting neuron pathways down in our brain. They're causing those neuron pathways to shut down to make us more highly suggestible and easily led into their dark agenda. And I know from my experience in MK Ultra Mind Control that without free thought, there's no free will. Without free will, there's no soul expression. If we don't have our soul expression, we lose our discernment of truth. We lose our ability to stand for the things that we believe in, our ability to effectively protect our children. It makes it impossible to go within and gather that strength of the human spirit and that infinite power of love and preserve our humanity and, you know, really claim our victory, because it's so much our saving grace. But mind control disrupts that. So they're using mass mind control on numerous levels to manipulate the minds of the population. Everyone should be able to recognize mind control now. After mind control, masked as a virus, was unleashed on the global population, people experienced the most basic form of mind control, which is a repetitive media narrative. Repetition's the most basic form of mind control. How many times did we hear mask up, social distance, get the injection? You know, so many times. It affects the subconscious mind eventually, and then the subconscious drives our thoughts. More people ended up wearing masks and getting injections than would have chose to do that if they had been left to their own free thought. And that is mind control in action. Masks are used in MK Ultra Mind Control because they depersonalize. You can't see if someone's smiling or sneering. They muffle voices so people can't speak out, especially from 6 feet away. And they also inhibit oxygen to the brain necessary for critical analysis free thought. So while our children were traumatized, thinking that if they didn't wear this mask, grandma would die, you know, or whatever horror they were being told, then they wore those masks. They sat behind plexiglass in school. They weren't able to have hugs. They weren't able to hug grandma even. This made them feel like they're faulty, that they're germ ridden, that their design is genetically wrong, and it caused a very strong personality confusion. This depersonalization, this confusion of identity was then redefined in the school systems and everywhere else as gender confusion in order to perpetuate the transgender depopulation agenda. So our children, because of their innocence, because they are so closely aligned with the divine within, they're targeted above all. They're also targeted because if they can be manipulated while their brain is still forming, it will leave them more compliant throughout the rest of their lives, unless they are able to understand what happened to them and heal. In order for them to heal, their parents need to heal first. We've got generational healing that needs to happen, but it's within us all to heal. We've got that capacity, that resiliency of body, mind, and spirit. And all we need is truth that makes us free to understand components of mind control, how it works, so we can defend ourselves against it going forward. I know what mind control entails. I certainly didn't comply with masking up and getting an injection. And, I didn't comply with any of it. I don't comply with any of those ridiculous orders. I critically analyze everything like we all should do, and start realizing that our free thought has been manipulated for a long time. If I can reclaim my free thought after 30 years of torturous MK Ultra mind control on a White House Pentagon level, we all can. It's within us all. We've been blessed all along. We just forgot.
That's so true. Wow. I mean, that's beautiful what you say. We are truly wiring with a healing each side of each one of us. And as you say, you don't comply. We don't need to comply to what the government is trying to impose on our sovereignty, right? And then I like the fact that you say that you don't comply in all those things. And after the fact that you've been there for 30 years, you are in a place where you understand it even better than somebody who is not even reading between the lines or seeing those things, right? And one thing you said that stood out to me right here is that we need to critically think in asking stuff. So because the mind controlling caused the people no more to critical thinking. They just go with the flow. They just accept everything that is bestowed upon them, if I may so say. So the critical thinking capacity is I would say, already number one in a fight against mind controlling. You could correct me, please, Kathy, if I'm wrong on that one. The critical thinking is number one fight against accepting everything that people are just saying, or being a slave, or am I right in saying that one? Or
yes, absolutely you are. And like I was saying, mind control shuts down neuron pathways. We need those neuron pathways open and firing. We need our minds to be brilliant like they were intended to be, and shine bright. Keep that brain firing. And when it's firing properly, then we have critical analysis. We have the ability to discern truth and understand what's going on around us, the ability to protect our children, our ability to say no, make our own decisions. But at this point, people have been conditioned for so long to look to big government that they forgot that they've got this power within them. They're so conditioned to headline news and snap judgment. They've lost their compassion without that critical analysis. We don't have that soul expression, and with that comes a compassion and an understanding for each other that we need to get back into our lives. And the best way to do that is what intelligence insider Mark Phillips taught me when he lifted my daughter and me out of the Washington, D.C. human trafficking swamp all the way back in 1988, before people even knew there was a globalist agenda, or before they knew that there was a pedophile agenda, or before they even knew that our schools had been taken over by a conditioning indoctrination that was intended to teach children what to think rather than how to think. One of the important little tools that was taken out of the school system in order to stop critical analysis is writing by hand. The very act of moving a pen activates the logic, critical analysis part of the brain. An intelligence insider, Mark Phillips, who has worked in the highest levels of intelligence mind sciences to preserve the sanctity of free thought, told me that I could write out memory of what I had experienced on under MK Ultra mind control, and take that emotionally incomprehensible information, shift it over to the logic part of my brain simply by moving a pen, because it takes that logic, critical analysis part of the brain to move the pen. So it shifts the information over, then it's written out on paper where it's consciously seen, and all of a sudden healing happens psychiatrically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. It all happens at once with this one simple little brain hack. It's such a powerful tool for activating critical analysis free thought that it has been eradicated from the school systems. Typing does not do the same thing, especially just little twiddling thumbs on a cell phone does not do the same thing. Instead, that conditions people to snap judgment, to react rather than think and how they're going to respond to a situation. It causes them to emotionally react in that moment exactly what is. And today, while we're living in a kaleidoscope of change where as soon as we see something and say, hey, I don't agree with that, the next day we go, oh, I see what that was really about. That was wrong. So everything keeps changing faster than we can even snap judge it. We got to get our critical analysis back so we can slow down, think things through, research for ourselves, make sound decisions on what we're going to, what actions we are going to take our responsibility for our own lives. That responsibility to me is the most beautiful thing, because that is an ability to choose to respond to situations with soul, with wisdom. And like Mark Phillips always told me, he said, wisdom outthinks their criminal mind every time. When we access our critical analysis free thought and get our brains firing again and access that soul expression, we have wisdom. Wisdom has height and depth. It has the ability to think things through. It has an ability to align with the divine within to see if this is in alignment with purpose, if it's in synchronistic harmony with life, the way it's intended to be lived in light of love. Is it in harmony with that? These are things that we get to choose for ourselves when we activate our critical analysis part of our brain. We can do it. We can all do it by picking up a pen and paper, write out your trauma, write out your fear, write out any negative that's immobilizing you, and then add a solution. And I spell it with an SOUL. Write out that solution, because that makes your brain fire in new ways again, because it lifts you above that pit of negativity. It's like rising above the storm for a clear view forward. And all of a sudden, we're able to see a clear path and solutions. The little children, if we put writing by hand back in the school system, that will stop the indoctrination of our children. It will give them critical analysis free thought back. So it's all simple. Just pick up that pen and paper ourselves, find our own strength so we can effectively protect the children. Get out in our communities, talk to each other eye to eye, heart to heart, soul to soul. Get active. Go into the school systems. Demand that the writing by hand be brought back in and stop the indoctrination of children and the sexualization of children that the education system is focused on right now. We have a lot of opportunity in front of us, and the methods to get there are very simple because these are capabilities we've been born with all along.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's beautiful said. Really. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kathy, for adding that pillar. We have a lot of opportunity in front of us, and the method are very simple. That is beautiful. I see a question on the comment. Someone is asking, can you please elaborate on the big lie called religion and how it is used as mind control? Thank you.
Yes. Well, anything that leads us outside ourselves is leading us away from our ability to align with the divine within, to be able to have our own connection. You know, whenever I was tortured, whenever I was endured extreme trauma, if it was being hunted in a most dangerous game, no matter what it was, whatever my body was going through, my spirit was always in a safe, loving space. It was as though my spirit rose out of the situation, and we hear about it sometimes in near-death experiences where someone will feel like they're overlooking the situation and they're attached to their body by a thread of light or something. And in so many ways, that was the experience that I had. My spirit was always in that safe, loving space, being totally safe, so that when I healed, I would be able to have that birthright to align with the divine and know that I had been not only carried like footprints in the sand through it, but so much more, just absolutely preserved on the highest level of love. And that ability to align with that divine within ourselves and to know that interpersonal connection and how powerful it is a personal journey. And if we're let outside ourselves by someone else's perception, we can be more easily manipulated and sometimes led astray from the truth that actually makes us free. And in my case, you know, the Jesuits were actively involved in my victimization. They're the intelligence arm of the Vatican. The Vatican was heavily involved in MK Ultra mind control of the children, of drug and human trafficking, especially child sex trafficking. They had learned that so long ago through the Spanish Inquisition and through the Crusades, where they were fighting to get people into the church. You know, it's kind of backwards. But that, whatever, that's what they were doing. And the spoils of those wars were the children. And the Catholic orphanages were born. And then those children were in the orphanages, and they realized that children were highly suggestible from trauma, and that they could become the new leaders in the church, the priests, the next level of the leadership in the church. So they were cultivating the church that way. And that became a basis of occult religion, how trauma is used deliberately to manipulate the minds. The children were sexualized, and the pedophile agenda has been notorious through the Catholic Church. Now, I'm not saying all Catholics are bad at all, not at all. Many are well-intentioned and don't know that the leadership has been rooted in this corruption and aligned with the CIA for the proliferation of mind control through sexualization of children. So, you know, the Catholic Church has a long way to clean up. They just put in a new pope. It wasn't one who was ready to clean that mess up. There's some beautiful people that could have taken over and cleaned it all up, but it wasn't to be, not at this point, because maybe not enough people in the church are awake and aware of the corruption that has permeated. We can take that and expand that into all different churches. Every sacred aspect of our society has been infiltrated by trauma, mind control, this dark, negative vibration, low vibration, negative energy force has infiltrated the most sacred things. So even where churches are well intended, we need to open our eyes to the infiltration that has been deliberately orchestrated in order to manipulate the minds of the masses into compliance with a globalist slave society agenda. So again, anything that leads us outside ourselves, we need to really examine it hard. Go within first, align with the divine, align with that infinite source of love and discernment, where truth is its own energy force, and know how to take action going forward, and what we really want to choose to do with our lives, instead of being manipulated by pretty words that manipulate the subconscious mind or drive fear into us, fear of hell, fear of God, fear of, we don't need any fear. We need to celebrate our victory and realize that when we align with the divine, we've got all the power. It's infinite, it's forever, and it's already won. That negative can't creep in on it. That would be like darkness creeping in on light. It can't happen vibrationally or otherwise. So it's our saving grace.
Goodness. My goodness. Kathy, what you just shared right now, I'm admonishing every believer to watch just that part, because you went straight to the point and beautifully lay out how the church or religion can easily manipulate mind, manipulate the people's mind, can easily cause the people even not to have that personal relationship with the divine inside of each one of us. Because not even that the pastor or the priest or whatever, sometimes, as you say, they may be a good people, but it's the leadership behind it. It's the so-called the great pope, which is Orsini. It's not even this pope which is there now, which they just elect, because he's just a pauper master. He have to follow Orsini, have to say, which is people who do not know who is Orsini. As Kati say, go do your own research. You're going to find out who is the Orsini family, the Italian Orsini family. They are the one they call the Great Pope, the Jesuit Society, who actually rule over all the Vatican. And they are the one who are actually perpetrating this nefarious issue, because they are soulless people. They don't think good for any human being, and therefore they are that people who are bringing that negative energy on the planet, and we are here to eradicate them all out. Oh my gosh. I'm glad that you brought it back, that you brought that one. The black pope, they have a black pope and you have a gray pope. Yeah, the black pope is family, the Orsini family. They are just evil. The perpetration of evil on the earth. Thank you very much, Kathy, for highlighting that, as you say, people in the church, they're good, but the leadership, manipulation. Exactly. Injecting fear. We are not here to receive fear so that we could not live, because we are here free. For Christ said, for free, for freedom has set you free. So why are we going to be again enslaved into all those regions? Thank you. I don't know whether I think that there's another, and I don't know whether there was another question there before we, are you leading any kind of work to help survivor of mind control?
Very much so. And I'm so honored to be able to have voice to the extent that I do, because after 35 years of my testimony being absolutely the same and not being triggered, because knowledge is our defense against mind control. We evolve with that knowledge. I cannot be triggered anymore. I cannot be manipulated and undermined. And that is a strength that I've been able to gain because I healed from within myself. I healed free of outside input. When our brains shut down neuron pathways. It's an automatic brain response. It happened when I was an infant. When my father's sexual abuse began, the neuron pathways in my brain shut down and repress a memory of his abuse. That was way before I could even think to know what he was doing was wrong. It's the brain's automatic defense mechanism. Likewise, our brains know when we're safe. By the time that intelligence insider Mark Phillips lifted my daughter and me out of the Washington, D.C. human trafficking swamp, I didn't know good people existed in the world anymore. I didn't know that people could be honorable and loving. I had heightened senses to see that animals trusted Mark, and that was having an effect on me. But ultimately, that automatic brain mechanism that we've been blessed with knew that I was safe, knew that my daughter was safe. So those neuron pathways began opening up, and I began writing out the memories that were starting to leak out of those neuron pathways opening back up. And this is important to understand why, when we heal from within ourselves, we're able to heal psychiatrically, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. And the strength that we get from that is absolutely evolutionary and a beautiful thing. If we go to a hypnotist, then the hypnotist is manipulating the mind from the outside. The brain knows it, will not open those neuron pathways, will not allow for full healing to happen. It's going into defense mode because they don't want any more, the brain doesn't want any more manipulation, so that mechanism kicks into place. Additionally, going into some therapeutic situations, the therapists have been taught wrong. Mark found our birthright information on mind-brain function and healing from it was suppressed from the mental health community, the medical community, from the education system, from society as a whole. And he was livid. He's like, that's our birthright information. We need to know that. Well, there's so many generations have been conditioned without that information, and instead programmed by big pharma and big tech how to manipulate minds further away from truth. It's just been a part of the system. So I advise people, to go within, heal within. It's within us all to heal, and to be able to help those who are opening safe houses right now for the numerous survivors that are coming out, for the children who have been trafficked. These safe houses are opening everywhere because our system is so corrupted. We can't put them into child protective services. We need to take action ourselves, and people are doing it. There's so many awake and aware now. There's so many who are saying, I'll take these children into my home and help them. But how do I help them? And this is where I can help provide the answers that are so simple with the healing methods Mark taught me. They're posted on my website at trance-formation.com. Right there, PTSD, Time to Heal. It's easy to self-apply because it's a reminder of the healing mechanisms that we have within us that we've been blessed with all along. It's just a reminder. And it's a reminder to heal from within ourselves, by ourselves, free of outside input. That is the safest way to heal anyway. So because of this key that I have on healing, that's so simple and so pure, it's caught on globally, and people are very encouraged that, oh, okay, so survivors are able to heal. Even if they've already had bad therapy, they can still come back around to self-healing and reclaim their inner peace, reclaim their self-control, reclaim their ability to align with their divine within and live the love they are, to live freely, to live the way life was intended to be lived. Because again, who we are is still within us. What happens to us isn't who we are. Who we are is still there, and it's secured, it's safe, and it's divinely protected. So we can reclaim that anytime. And it's an honor to be able to share this good news with so many on a global scale. And it's an amazing time to be alive. I've waited a lifetime for this moment, and here it is.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kachi, for answering that question so beautifully. And you so simply say that the healing is within us. So no matter what we have gone through, as you say, the healing, the mechanism of healing is within us. And our brain is wired to the way that memory, we could still tap back into the memory of the divine to be able to come back to the real who we are, the real person, the real me, the real Kachi. And I'm so honored, really, that you shared that one. Thank you very much. I don't know, I think there's another question quickly before we wrap up. Somebody say, has President Trump requested your service to assist too many survivors coming out now?
I met President Trump a year and a half ago, and he is very kind and very compassionate and understanding, very concerned for the plight of the survivors and the children, especially. Tom Holman, who is our border czar, who is working so hard to stop the trafficking of children across the open borders. What a big heart and compassion. And he hugged me with tears just streaming down his face that we were going to stop this, what's been done my whole life to the children, that it would be done. This administration is very much dedicated to that, and they're also very much having to dismantle a very corrupted system. And in the meantime, the children can't wait. The children need us now. So because we're able to effectively reach out and help the children now, because we're able to reach out to each other and keep each other safe and secure outside the corrupted system, while they're cleaning it up, we don't have any obstacles in front of us anymore. Prior to this administration, we were horrifically stopped from being able to help each other and reach out to each other. Not anymore. We're free. We're open. It's happening, and the people are becoming active and effectively helping survivors on all levels, because this administration does care so very much.
Thank you. Very, very beautifully said. Thank you very much for answering that question. Okay, there's another one before we wrap up. What happened to us is not who we are. Oh, no, just comment. What happened to us is not who we are, is what God intended to us to be when God created us. Beautifully. Thank you very much, Aida, for that one. Thank you. Wow. This amazing, Kachi, what you shared on this, the most dangerous game, how is perpetrated to the humanity, I mean, around us, and how you fought. Now you see the reward of your fight. For the last 35 years, you've been honing this one, and people they thought, oh no, that's only conspiracy. Oh no, she's not telling the right or whatever. But now, I'm so glad that you didn't give up, and many people again will still need to hear this. So before we wrap up today, I just want to highlight something here, and then maybe you could add some final remarks before we wrap up the show. I just want to tell the people who are watching now and who are going to watch after when we're off live, beloved, what Kachi just discussed today is merely a tipping point about the most dangerous game. If you want to know more, I will admonish you to get yourself a copy of her book again. I'm going to highlight the book is going to come there. Transformation of America. Transformation. You see, it's Transformation of America, in which she lays out every detail. So in 60-minute setting, she cannot go through all the layers and the ramification of this game. It is very pathetic to know that the very people we have elected to power, those who are making rule, passing laws, and debating where the line is, are the very ones who are playing this nefarious game. The most dangerous thing isn't what happened to Kathy out there. Rather, is that it could happen again, anywhere and to anyone. When those with power forget the value of a single human life, believe that having sex with younger boys or killing them for sport wasn't just acceptable, but was noble. So ask yourself a question. Are you protecting people? Is your child or grandchild safe? Are we choosing who gets hurt next? Those are the questions you should be asking. Because what Kathy is sharing is so pivotal in this moment of great awakening. And we need to save each one of our children. Each one. Kathy, please, can you tell our audience where people can find your work, by the way? And if you have any final remark or adding to just what I shared before we wrap up this show. Thank you. Thank you very much again for coming.
Yes, when Mark had learned the details of the most dangerous game and how it was used to condition us to think there was no place to run and no place to hide, he told me there is a place to run right at them. And there is no need to hide. Obviously, they have all the reason to hide. They're the ones with the criminal minds. He also said that wisdom outthinks their criminal minds every time, because their criminal minds are flat thinking, linear flat thinking. They lack soul, they lack depth, they lack that strength of spirit and the ability to think further. And that makes a big difference. Whether it's a criminal mind, an evil mind, artificial intelligence, the point is the same. Wisdom outthinks it, and wisdom comes into play when we reclaim and retain our free thought, free will, soul expression. That's where we have our wisdom to preserve our humanity. That's where we can gather the strength of the human spirit and the infinite power of love to live the love we are, to effectively protect our children, to unite with each other on a natural spirit level. It's happening. This great awakening is a beautiful thing to see. It's raising the whole vibration of the planet. Let's all just keep our vibration high. I don't live in any fear. That's their vibration. I live the love I am and just keep shining as bright as can be. Let's all do that together for the children's sake. I have my information available on my website at trans-formation.com. My books are available on Audible, on Amazon. I secured the information reading it myself. And I've got a lot of blog posts where I talk about what we can do today, events where I'm going to be speaking, where I'm going to be reaching out for the children's sake all across the nation. And also you can contact me direct through my website. So I encourage everyone to research further, expand your own thinking, pick up that pen and paper, write out your traumas, write out your fear, and reclaim your freedom to live life the way it was intended to be, to know who you are and why you're here. Align with the divine and live the love you are. We win. It's our victory.
Beautiful, 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 Kathy. Thank you very much. It's really, we win and it's our victory. And I like the fact that you highlight that this administration is really doing a lot concerning the children and the survivor. And this is what we really need to recommend. Thank you. Thank you again. Please stay again on the backstage a little bit. I'll quickly have a wrap up. Give a final remark here myself too, and then we will close the show. But we would like again to talk to you. So I'm now addressing my audience. Just as Kathy said, we are MBNK News will not stay silent while system dress up poorly as strategy. Every policy that value profit over people, every loophole that lets violence wear a uniform or a title is a crime. If law means anything, it must mean this. No human being is a prey, not now and not ever again. Please make sure that you engage in the fight and let's save our planet. Let's rise our vibrational frequency so that we could live that better life that the divine have given unto us in this plane. Thank you for this show today. And please share and share and share this news. Let us spread the news out there so that people will not perish, but they will know that, yes, we are aware of your dangerous, most dangerous game. We are aware of your MK Ultra. We are aware of all your project that you're trying to do, your manipulation. We are all aware of it, and it will no more stand. Thank you. Until we see you next time. This